Welcome to this edition of Resilience Toolbox. On this edition, we'll be speaking with Captain Robert Webb. He's a retired captain from the Fort Worth, Texas Fire Department, where he was a truck captain for 22 years and a total of 33 years of service, ending his career as a technical rescue coordinator. Today, we're going to be speaking about your cancer packets. This is a tool that I think many people need to know about. I can speak from personal experience that if I had known about it when I had filed a workers' comp claim for cancer, it probably would have totally changed the game for me. So let's dive in and find out more about this. Captain Webb, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to create the Webb Cancer Navigator packets.
I was extremely healthy all my life. I was lucky that I didn't have to work out much, but I did work out every day just because of the nature of my job, which I never thought that cancer would be a part of my life. My family history is cardiac. I was a firefighter that really didn't have any known problems with cancer in my family. I really never paid attention to that there was a presumptive law for cancer in the state. And at the time, I looked at the requirements for the conditions to meet the presumption, and I had all those boxes checked. I had the cancer that was job related, that was through scientific studies. It's one of the big three. I'd done my time as far as the number of years required to be under the presumption. I didn't smoke or drink, do any of those things. Smoking is a big thing that will negate your presumption. So I really felt at the time that I would be immediately accepted. Workers' comp carriers have 60 days to deny your claim. And on the 57th day, they denied my claim. And at this time, I had been through 2 rounds of heavy chemo, R-CHOP chemo. Then I had to start really trying to figure out what I needed for my presumption to succeed, for me to win my case. There's only one paragraph that states what the requirements were at the time, and it was you had to find the known products of combustion that caused your cancer, and they had to be found within the books of the IARC monographs. But it did list all the products of combustion that were in smoke and fires and in overhaul and in diesel exhaust. I had to formulate that information and make it usable where I could present it and win my case. From there, I went and built more packets as they were requested.
So these cancer packets cover a multitude of different kinds of cancers, correct?
Yes, there's 24 types of cancer that there's packets for now. And there's a name for each one of those packets. It's because someone called me, or I personally knew someone that had that cancer and needed that packet. It can't be stressed enough that the timeline that you need this packet quickly. You have a limited amount of time from the time you get diagnosed to the time you file your case. Usually that's 30 days from the time you are diagnosed and the time you exhaust that time to file. It's not very long. It's 30 days. So, and in that period of time, after that, you're going to be asked for information. It happens pretty quickly, and someone going through cancer treatment necessarily isn't trying to think about all those things. So it's really helpful to get that information as quick as you can.
What's the single most important thing to remember if you're diagnosed with a presumptive cancer?
Well, the single most important thing is the timely reporting. So when you're told by a doctor that you have cancer, you have 30 days, at least in the state of Texas, and most states have timelines. Firefighters make a mistake by just going and looking at the presumptive law. The presumptive law doesn't have anything in those laws about timeline of reporting, but you have to fall within the other parameters of workers' comp. Workers' comp laws that cover all workers stipulates all the timelines. So you still fall in line with those same timelines. So 30 days to report from the time you're told you have cancer is a pretty hard and fast rule. You have to be on your toes. Either the people that work with you, your supervisors, or someone that knows you were diagnosed really needs to be on their toes and fill that paperwork out and get it reported. Regardless if you want to file workers' comp or not, at least report it to where you're not excluded right from the get-go.
Who do I share my packet with once I receive one?
Well, once you receive one, usually the kind of the order of things that will happen is you'll report your injury, your illness within 30 days, and then you'll get this packet, and then you'll be assigned a adjuster through your workers' comp carrier. It'll be a claims adjuster. And so the first person you'll share that with is them. Now, there's some information in the packets that necessarily wouldn't give them, like the doctor's guide. There's a piece of paper in there called a doctor's guide, and that's really meant to go to your physician. But basically, the doctor's guide lists the products of combustion that caused your cancer, where they're located within that packet, and how you possibly were exposed to those, whether they're through smoke and fires, through overhaul, or through diesel exhaust. So that's kind of how it's laid out. The next person you'll give that to, some states have a program called ombudsman that work for the state for free, and they assist you with your workers' comp claim for free. If you don't have that within your state, then if you have to get a lawyer, or if you're using, there's a lot of different scenarios in states how they're dealt with these claims. Sometimes they go before a board. Sometimes they go before a contested case hearing, like a court hearing, like a court trial. So whether you have to get an attorney, whether your association is representing you, your fire association, or whether you're representing yourself, then that's where that packet really becomes important. You need to make sure that you have that packet. And if you don't understand the packet, definitely ask me, call me, or have your attorney or whoever call me. I've talked to a lot of them also, trying to explain to them what's important, what's most important in that packet. The packets include studies that show that particular cancer is linked somehow to products of combustion, but the studies aren't the important aspect of that packet. They're just the verification of the information out of the IARC. It just shows that there's other studies that show that information, but the IARC information, there's a packet called IARC in there that's out of the International Research of Cancer monographs, and those are the most important documents, because those are scientific documents coming from doctors that state that this product of combustion caused this cancer. And that's what's really important. So just getting the right information to them, to your lawyer, to your ombudsman, or to your representatives that are going to be representing you through the hearing, whatever type it may be, depending on what state you're in, is really the most important thing to get this packet to them.
Captain Webb, is there a charge for the packets?
No, I've done all this for free because I knew when I did my own, I would have given anything when I went through mine the first time to have had something I could have just downloaded and say, here it is, this is the information I need. But when you're going through treatment and you're going through chemo and you're not feeling well, and that's really why I do it, because I know I've been through that myself. And it's just one less thing that they have to worry about. And it really wasn't difficult for me to do. So once I did my own packet, I knew how to do the packets and where to look for the information. And it really wasn't that hard to put that information together. So yeah, there's no charge for it.
It's an amazing service you're providing, Captain. And what if a particular cancer is not on the existing list?
Well, that's another thing that, a lot of states limit the cancers that are covered. In Texas, there's 11 cancers that are covered. The states that still use the IARC as proof, that they typically don't have any cancers covered because it was so hard to find the information. And those states that still have it up, I'm guessing, have not had a lot of firefighters use my packets, because if they did, they would have changed the law. Because literally all these packets have won. There are reasons why you can not win your case. Understand that these packets don't guarantee that you're going to win the case. It just gives you the information to allow you to hopefully win your case. But there are cancers that are caused by viruses. There's cancers that are naturally occurring, like my cancer, for instance, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. One of the natural causes is the Epstein-Barr virus. which is mono. If you've had mono in your life, you'll always test positive for mono. And it's if they do the test and show that you have Epstein-Barr, then that's a legitimate reason for a denial. And for esophageal squamous cell in the throat, the HPV is another virus. It's a legitimate denial. If you smoked, if the cancer is known to be caused by smoking or dipping, then that's a legitimate denial. And also, if you've violated any of those time frames, you didn't report your injury in 30 days, you didn't fill out the additional paperwork required within a year, then that could also negate your claim. So there's a lot of pitfalls within the workers' comp process that you need to be made aware of. And if people when they call me, I tell them those things. I ask them questions and tell them those things. That way I don't try to give them false hope. And even if none of those things exist and you have a pristine claim, it doesn't mean that you're going to win. In fact, before I won my case in 2014, no firefighter had won in the state of Texas that was alive, a living firefighter. And it just goes to show that the system is really designed for you to lose. And this hopefully swings the pendulum to your favor, having these packets.
As we wrap up, any final messages you want to share?
I was probably the last person I thought would ever get cancer. And a lot of other people too, because I never smoked, never drank. Worked out every day, stayed fit, and it happened to me. So, and I believe wholeheartedly that having dirty ear, having dirty helmets, breathing smoke when I probably shouldn't have, taken my air pack off during overhaul, not wearing it on car fires, all those things add up. They all are they accumulate, and eventually you're going to end up on the wrong side of that. So that's the best thing to do, is try to prevent it from happening altogether.
I know you have a project you're working on with Dr. Sarah Janke. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Dr. Sarah Janke has graciously taken my information and looked over it. She was surprised that I had as much information that I did. And luckily she's taken it and she's honed it, and several of the packets she's already made improved on the doctor's guide aspect of the packet. And of course, it looks way more professional than what I did. And it's coming from the National Institute of Health. So hopefully in the future, you can go to Dr. Janke's going to have a website where you can go to and download her information, which isn't a packet. It's really just going to be a doctor's guide for a particular cancer for firefighters to show the links, kind of like I did. But it's coming from Dr. Sarah Janke, not from Captain Robert Webb, which adds a lot of credence to the packet and allows doctors to make an intelligent decision as to agree that the cancer is job related. So that's what she's working on, and whether she's going to be able to do all 24, I kind of doubt. She's very, as most doctors are, they're very cautious on what they do. So, but like I said, most states only allow 10 to 14 cancers at this time today, as we're talking, to be covered. Now, if you're in a state that you have a cancer that isn't on the list, I would still encourage you to file. In Texas, we've had several firefighters win using my packets and showing the information there with cancers that aren't listed, and still they came out on top and won. But it's definitely an uphill fight if you don't have a cancer that's listed.
Where can people find you out there on the internet or directly?
I'm with the New York Cancer group. I gave you the link for that. Hopefully you can put that up there. If anybody would like to get a hold of me, my email is rweb774@me.com. And my phone number, they're welcome to text me or call me. It's 817-999-0573. That's my personal cell phone. So if they would like information, you're not bothering me if you call.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this and for doing this amazing tool for firefighters who are probably going through one of the worst, if not the worst, chapters of their life. It cannot be understated how critically important this is for your future, for all the ramifications of filing a workers' comp claim. It's a huge contribution, and I salute you for that.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.